So this is my first video, and I'm going to be tying a midge. My name's Max. I live in the Pacific Northwest, so I'm mainly fishing for rainbow trout. And so yeah, just start out with a light thread base and clip off the tag end. I'm using gray 6/0 Euro thread, really light stuff. It's good for tying these little flies for these little trout. First video, so it's kind of tough to do. So I'm going to be using some stuff that I bought at Sportsman's Warehouse. It's really good for tail. Some mule deer. Most people don't like to use deer for their midges because it's kind of flashy. And most people for midges just like plain, no color. But it gets their attention when it's floating on the water. And you don't need a big tail. It's deer, so it's no big deal. Pull out all the fuzzies and the shorts. And then what I like to do is, I don't even stack them, I just pull them out so they're all kind of natural. And so just tie them down right there at the end. I don't really do any precise measurements, but you can kind of pull them through after you do it. And then you don't need to be perfect. Just tie it back and then you're going to have some tags. You can just clip those guys off. Yeah, and then once you have that all tied down, what you're going to want to do is make it a nice even thread base. It's okay if you still got those sticking out. You don't want to go too close to the eye because for beginner tyers like me, it crowds at the hook point very easily, and that's really frustrating. But don't make that want you to stop tying, because it only gets easier. Alright, now I've got some light brown hare's ear dubbing. It's really cool, it's got some flashy in it. And you're just going to take a little bit of it. And, do your dubbing noodle. I don't use a loop. I feel like it's unnecessary. So I got way too much on here. I just kind of wrap it to the thread. It's a good way to do it. And these midges, they're really low profile. That's why there's not many deer hairs. And there's some flashy in this dubbing, but it's not anything like some of the other flies that we tie. This is a great starter fly, especially if you're just starting to tie dries, which are the hardest and the smallest, so very frustrating as you're first starting out. So you can just kind of go back over, and then once you get there, what's nice about using this gray thread on this gray dubbing is you can just kind of go over it and you won't even notice it, so you can kind of tie it all back. So yeah, there's that. And then what I like to do is I really don't like bushy hackle. Or not hackle, but dubbing. I like it all to be uniform. And I clipped some of the deer hair to just make it look kind of raggedy. You just kind of flatten it all out. That'll make that look good. Okay. So once you have that, you're going to take your hackle. I'm just using some gray strung rooster, which is nice for this because it all looks the same. And that's a good piece. This is long hackle because midges kind of float in the water nicely if they have long hackle. And I'm not going to do anything special with this. I'm just going to tie it in on the tip. And then take your hackle pliers. Attach it to the tag end. Hackle is the hardest part of the dry fly. So once you get that down, and you're going to want to take that. That's why it's one of the hardest parts. And that's one of the downfalls to the tying it down with a tip. A lot of people tie it in by the thick end of the feather, which I don't like because it's a lot easier to attach hackle pliers the other way. So that's why I do it this way. And yeah, it spreads out like that, but that's easy. You can tie it down or use your hackle trimmers just right. Boom. Careful not to tie down your thread there, and then tie it all down like that. And come in like this. It's going to be nice and bushy hackle, so and I'm going to stop right there, tie it all down, get in close like that, and then secure it. And yeah, it looks really ratty right now, I know, I realize that, but if you just bear with me until the end, it'll come together and look nice. Go like that and dig everything back. Create a thread head. And take those off. Take your clippers and once again, clean it all up like that. Take it back. See how it's kind of cleaning up and it kind of just sits back like that. Okay, now you're going to take your whip finisher, which I have right there. clip that. I'm just gonna come in here and trim whatever I don't like. Oh, I got some sticking out. I like mine to sit back like that. Okay, and what I like to do for my midges is if there's any in the middle, I will trim them, but I don't. So. Just helps it sit in the water better if you do that. And there you are. Deer hair midge.